funeral, was it? Anyone close?
My father's.
You know the worldly aren't supposed to mourn with us.
I think he would have wanted me here.
It took courage to do what you did. Go out and make your own way.
The world is a dangerous place.
A man was found dead this morning. We believe he had a connection to this address.
She never came back after lunch.
Do you think her disappearance is linked to this murder?
That's what we need to find out.
Do you think she's still alive?
I promise you, we will find her. Can you tell us where you were yesterday morning?
Really?
Thought we could talk about the lies you told me.
I had to leave.
You had to leave the church. Nobody ever said you had to leave your family.
You chose your own path, Matthew. Now it's led you back to us.
Hey everyone, it's Anthony Allen Ramos. Okay, The Long Call is a 4-part drama that is coming to BritBox starting October 28th. The series is based on the best-selling book of the same name. It follows Detective Matthew Venn, played by Ben Aldridge, who returns to the small community he is from with his husband, and soon a murder in town threatens to change everything, reveal shocking secrets. And I'm so excited to be chatting with Ben today, who, of course, we all remember from Fleabag. How are you?
Anthony, I'm good. You made it sound so scandalous. I'm so into it.
I know, I lean toward the scandal. But in all seriousness, this is a big deal because I was like, okay, British television, a gay leading character who's a detective. Like, is this the first? Because I can't remember or think of another, character like this.
Apparently it is. So they've been they had a historian to look into this and people have done lots of Googling. But yeah, apparently this is the first male queer detective we've had on a British primetime show. There have been queer female characters.
Right.
But there's never been a male lead that's queer. Yeah, so I suppose in that way it's breaking new ground.
It's so great. I've gotten to see a little bit of it, so I'm very lucky. But I mean, for you, I know you being a part of the LGBTQ community and, coming out more publicly last year during Pride. What does it mean to you to get to play this character at this point in your life?
Yeah, I think it's really significant for me. Definitely, it kind of feels like it found me a little bit after I came out publicly in June last year. And I think I was really finally ready to kind of play this kind of part and to explore that in me and to tap into that. And I'm proud of this, I suppose, because it's not tokenism, it's not just ticking a box, it's not making a character queer for the sake of representation. Like, we do actually, what's central to the story is his journey with his queerness and his self-acceptance or lack thereof, and him dealing with overhanging shame that underpins him. And I think his queerness is really central to the entire thrust of the show. Obviously, there is the murder, the scandalous murder, as you said, that I think you'll watch and want to solve alongside him. But that becomes really intertwined with this Brethren Christian Church background he's from, and every character he comes across, he kind of has to, I think about whether they accept him for who he is or not. So yeah, there's like very, very personal depth in there, as well as it being a kind of whodunit procedural in that way.
Yeah, it's so great. I think people are definitely going to be into it for that reason. But the whodunit part of it is so great, and that's that genre we all love.
Yeah.
When it comes to the characters with Matthew and his husband, I feel like it's portrayed as a very normal, just very it's a great look at a gay relationship, sometimes that we don't often see. Sometimes we see more extreme versions. Would you say that that's the case?
Absolutely, yeah. I think that's something that's really nice about it, is that their stability. They're really together. And I think it's the only place that Matthew is able to really be himself, unfiltered, unguarded. And they're in a really healthy, loving relationship. And you're right, we don't often see that. We see the kind of more extreme sides of, we're represented in the kind of more extreme ways, I think. And we don't see a lot of kind of positive representation about relationships. And actually, they're the most positive relationship in the entire piece. So yeah, I think it's quite unusual. in that way. Of course, they become challenged by what Matthew's dealing with, but they deal with it together. And I think that's kind of a lovely thing to see, I think. Yeah.
I love that as well. And also thinking with your co-star Pearl Mackie also being a part of the community, which we love, but we have two leading characters, both a part of the LGBTQ community. Did the two of you get to kind of have a special bond making this? Because I would imagine, you know, the two of you would get on pretty well.
We totally did, yeah. But by coincidence, we both publicly came out on the same day over Instagram the year before. And the anniversary of that day was whilst we were, I think, in our first week together filming. And, you know, it was kind of, I think for both of us, the first job that we'd done being visible in that way. And it was such a relieving and refreshing experience. And we had a queer director, we had other queer actors on set. This is quite rare as well. We had quite a few queer crew members, and it just felt an environment where everyone was able to be themselves and to celebrate that. And Pearl and I definitely had some really enlightening, quite emotional, like very hilarious conversations as well. And it's been so nice to share that with her post this as well, I suppose, in that we can both be visible and proud in promoting this and in talking about it in the press, and that people were interested in our perspectives as well. So yeah, it's been lovely. It's been something that I really kind of a long time coming, and that I'm very relieved that that's finally kind of arrived in my life, and it's something that I'm no longer guarded or protecting, and that I'm just kind of able to be authentic, I suppose. And I feel like I'm definitely navigating the world in a different and a more positive way because of that, for sure.
No, and we're so happy for you, because we know how the feeling is just to be able to be yourself and to express that through your art is so great. You know, thinking about the impact of this show, what do you want people, because like we said, you know, we really haven't seen this before. I think there's such a potential for people to see this, maybe that don't know a lot about the LGBTQ community or what a gay couple can look like. What do you hope that people that watch this show, because I know there's going to be a lot of people that watch it, because BritBox is so beloved. What do you hope that people, you know, take away from, you know, seeing this?
I suppose in terms of the queer representation, I mean, he's a very specific slice of what being queer is, and it'd be almost impossible to represent all of us, right, in a character. But I think particularly the audience in the UK, and I suppose for BritBox, that potentially people are going to tune into this that wouldn't usually be interested in queer stories, and that may not have a lot of exposure to queer people, or to the potential struggles that we face. And I think what it does is it makes him very real. And I hope that people can kind of empathize with what it is that he's struggling with, and how the religion that he was raised in has been very problematic for him, in terms of, you know, ultimately that religion's message is one of love, but that translates really into a place of judgment. And yeah, I just think, look, representation is so key. It's so powerful. It can change people's minds. We also learn about ourselves, I think, and our own communities through representation. But moreover, the most important thing is that we learn about things beyond our own experience. And I would love people to kind of be intrigued and have empathy. Yeah, and to kind of, I suppose, question themselves about how they relate and think of and relate to queer people.
Well, very well said. And I gotta tell you, my family they're such fans of this British crime series, and I've been like, guess what I'm doing today? They're very jealous. But yeah, we will definitely be tuning in. But thank you for sharing so much of that. And we're so happy for you, and we're so happy that this show is gonna finally be available. Well, actually, not finally. It's, you know, the Brits are getting it, and then we're getting it just a few days later on BritBox. So that's fantastic. Yeah. But yeah, just a reminder, everyone, that the 4-part series, The Long Call, will be available exclusively on BritBox starting October 28th. So be sure and tune in. And Ben, so nice to meet you over Zoom. Hopefully the next time we'll be in person.
Lovely to meet you, Anthony. I hope so too.
Thank you so much.